Welcome to Holiday Hoops, presented by K Jewelers. Big doubleheader coming your way from San Francisco, and we open things up with Oregon and Stanford, the Cardinal and the Ducks. It's the ACC and the Big Ten tonight, with a decided Pac-12 after dark feel to it as well. It is the Invisalign Bay Area Women's Classic, Cal and USC, the second half of our doubleheader. Welcome courtside. I'm Beth Mullins, along with Andrea Carter. We open up with Stanford, a team that missed out on the NCAA tournament last year for the first time in nearly 4 decades, Andrea. But they have the pieces around them today to get them back to the tournament.
Yeah, Stanford has an excellent group of freshmen. Their upperclassmen have leaned into leadership. There are a lot of things that this Stanford team would like to leave in last season, but one thing they want to carry into this season is the presence of Nunu Aguera on the inside, and they have done just that. Nunu Aguera, such an excellent story. Had to wait her turn as a freshman behind Kiki Uriafen and Cameron Brink. Breakout sophomore season last year, and she's carried that momentum forward into this season. She can play back to the basket. She's a bouncy lefty, but she also utilizes the face-up game. Loves the reverse pivot. She gets on the glass. She is a huge presence on the interior for the Cardinal.
And alongside her is Courtney Ogden. The numbers impressive over the last 2 games, including a career-high 25 in their ACC opening win against Cal. On the other side for the Ducks, 12-1, and off to a hot start thanks to the play of their sophomore point guard, Katie Fiso.
A Sue Bird-inspired point guard from Seattle. Katie Fiso is 5'11", so she can see over defenders, which is what helps her average just under 8 assists per game. But she's not just a passer, she can also score. Mid-range game is my favorite part of her game, but she can score at all 3 levels. She has to find balance between calling her own number, finding her teammates. She's done it well so far this season.
She is their leading scorer, and right behind her is Mia Jacobs at 14 points per game and 6 rebounds. And they are looking to bust out under Kelly Graves. They have lost 8 straight in this rivalry. In the 78th meeting between the Ducks and the Cardinal, Kelly now in his 12th season. Most notable, that 2019 trip to the Final Four with Sabrina. Favorites to win it all the following year, and the season was cut short by the pandemic. On the other side, the Stanford Cardinal, Kate Pay, 17 years an assistant under Tara Vanderveer, now in her 2nd year as the head coach, a former Cardinal player as well, and coming off a win on Friday night against Washington, the first of the Pay era against a ranked opponent. They picked up the big win.
A huge win for Stanford going against Washington just 2 days ago, and they won without Nunu Aguera. She missed that game with a leg injury, but is back here today, ready to go.
Yep, at 15 points per game with 8 boards. Aguera is out there for the 10-2 Cardinal. Ducks and green, Stanford, the home whites here at Chase Center in San Francisco for the first game of our double dip. And here is Fiso off the bounce and off the window.
And that's where that 5'11" frame, the wingspan to put the ball up high off the glass over the defense.
They like to throw on a 1-2-2 press. Stanford at times has been turnover prone. They're going to have to take care of the ball here this evening. Fiso turned away by Talana Lopolo. That's a terrific matchup. And the Ducks stepped out of bounds.
One thing Stanford knows, Katie Fiso liking to attack right, and it's the hesitation that gets Swain to lift for a second, and then Fiso drops her shoulder. Nice change of speed there to get to the rim.
Here is Lopolo, who only played 5 games last year with a knee injury. They love to have her back out there running the point. Nice backdoor cut. Courtney Ogden with the lay-in.
It's Alana Lopolo with a great pass to lead Ogden to the rim. Lopolo brings so much to this team on both ends with her IQ.
Here is Fiso, again to the right side. Bothered on the shot by Lopolo, and then quickly calls for the outlet to go the other way. Off the bounce, in the lane, Aguirre.
That's the second time Aguirre has attacked Rambis on a long closeout. That is an advantage that Aguirre has, her athleticism and quickness off the bounce.
Here's Ari Long out top for Oregon. The junior transfer from Washington. Knocked out of bounds with 6 on the shot clock by Haley Swain.
Talana Lopolo, the point guard. Look at how she leads Courtney Ogden right to the basket. It's a beautiful pass dime. And then this is Rambis on a closeout again. The second time that this has happened where Nuno Aguirre is able to get to the rim.
Shot clock winding down. They've got a jack. Three-pointer on its way. Short from Long. And the rebound goes out of bounds. Cardinal with the big win against Washington on Friday. They lost to Tennessee in the ACC-SEC Challenge. And already have a win over Cal after the Bears beat them twice last year. Those are the big games so far on their resume as they get set for ACC play in a conference that suddenly looks wide open with a slow start for a lot of the teams at the top. In fact, that Stanford win on Friday, one of just 4 against ranked opponents for the league.
And this is a Stanford team that with as many freshmen as they have, you know this team is going to grow as the season goes on and grow even through conference play.
Big win for Louisville also yesterday over Tennessee. Jeff Walls' team looks like they're going to be the one to beat. Spin move in the lane, won't go from Rambis. One and done trip. Lopolo with her head up. Here's another one of the youngsters, Lara Shumfai. Lopolo has the shot blocked by Long. Fiso drops it off for the shooter, Jacobs. Long on that attempt.
It's a nice box out by Nuno Aguirre, staying ready in transition defensively. Oregon wants to play fast. Stanford's transition defense is huge.
A top 5 recruiting class for Stanford this year. And the freshman from Australia with Hungarian heritage able to put it in. They're beating people off the bounce here early.
Yeah, and this is something that plagued Oregon in their game against Auburn is closeouts and teams being able to blow by them defensively.
That pass picked off. Good hustle to get back. And it is Oregon ball after Jacobs was able to break up the break.
You see, this is Rose's really nice job with her left hand. Sometimes Shumfai with some trouble finishing, but she's got great length there. And that's a step that Mia Jacobs has to take defensively, being able to defend one-on-one.
Here's Long, looking to get a paint touch. Spinning to the left and using the glass for Rambis, the junior out of Flint, Michigan.
It was great spacing by Oregon. No one could help and double in.
One of the returnees for a 20-win season last year. The Ducks bowed out in the first round of the NCAA tournament. And they are a part of an absolutely loaded Big Ten conference this year, with 9 teams in the rankings this week as the freshman Haley Swain out of Marietta, Georgia, lays it up and in.
And if you're on the Stanford side, you keep playing in attack mode and hunting the paint.
Ooh, a lot of contact, no whistle on the drive. Aguirre thinking about it. Midway through this first quarter and an 8-4 Stanford advantage. Swain misses from downtown. Another look from straight on, and that won't go.
And Mia Jacobs is capable of hitting those shots. That is her 3rd miss, but she shoots 38% from 3 on this season.
Neither side heavily reliant on the 3 ball. But each side has some threats. Trying to feed Ogden inside. Courtney lets the freshman know, hey, need a little more loft on that pass.
Stanford relying on their freshman this season. That is Haley Swain with the soft touch off the glass. Stanford up 4.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Invisalign, the #1 doctor-recommended clear aligner brand. It's a nice day for a little snooze down by the water as the Seals are enjoying a moment, maybe down Fisherman's Wharf way on a rainy Sunday before the Christmas holiday. Glad you are with us for our women's doubleheader. That looks like a Grinch and a Grinchling in attendance here at Chase Center. Nice. 8-4, Stanford with the early advantage over Oregon. Ducks opening up this one just 2 for 9, make it 2 for 10. Mary Ashley Stevenson now in the ball game, as is Shea Ijiwoye. Ogden will pull up, and that one will go. Offensive rebound and another possession. Kept alive by another one of the freshmen, Alex Eschmeyer out of Boulder, Colorado. And she'll get the assist on the nice cut by Ijiwoye.
Eschmeyer and Ijiwoye are 2 players that come in off the bench, but they do so many little things for this Stanford team.
Ijiwoye is a big personality for them as well. And she just took a shot to the face, and an offensive foul is called on the Ducks. Hey, bowl season continues tomorrow afternoon. How about the famous Idaho Potato Bowl up on the Smurf Turf at Albertson Stadium? It's Washington State and Utah State, 2 Eastern on ESPN, also on your ESPN app. Bowl season continues. The first round of the playoffs complete. And the Oregon Ducks, an impressive opening round win over James Madison yesterday. And an and one opportunity here for Ogden. You know, she was spending some time out of position last year, and she's much more comfortable this year.
Oh, and watching Courtney Ogden, she is so skillful. Plays the forward position, but has guard skills. And what impresses me the most about Ogden is how she elevates straight up and down on her jump shots. And in shoot-around today, she did all of the guard drills. When the team split up positionally, she was shooting with the guards.
She is the co-ACC Player of the Week this week, and it's a 13-2 run for Stanford. And Chloe Clardy is looking to add to it, and it's blocked by Sophia Bell. Terrific defensive effort there by the Ducks. Now trying to cash in at the other end. And they turn it over. 5 turnovers to go with just 2 baskets here in the first quarter. Ahisa Tute is into the lineup now for the Ducks defensively here on Ogden. Courtney will try for 3, and Amina Muhammad has the rebound. Trying to find the bottom of the net and coming up wanted here in the first quarter. Meanwhile, it's Ogden. Mid-range pull-up by timeout Ducks. All Cardinal early.
Stanford, what they struggled with last season, Beth, it was their defense. They have turned over a new leaf this season. The defense leading to the offense, and Ogden straight up, straight down with the bucket.
Big start for Stanford and for Courtney Ogden. You know, the first 8 games, a little slow start, but she has picked it up over the course of the last 4. And Kate Pay talks about the upside of this team as they start to gel and play more with the freshmen and with guys that didn't have a lot of minutes last year that have an opportunity to play a lot more this year.
Yeah, Courtney Ogden, people forget, she was the 10th ranked recruit coming into college, and she's taken some time to come along, but you watch her play with her frame, her skill set, she is so impressive.
Nice cut to the rim, and there's an easy land that may open it up a little bit for the Ducks.
Good spacing by Oregon on the offensive end to get a clean look.
The Tute had the finish there. Here's Shumfai. Tough pass. Aguera able to handle. And it's Oregon with the push the other way. Fisa with an assist and a turnover so far, and one basket for their star point guard. They've had some awfully good ones under Kelly Graves over the years at Oregon and Gonzaga. Tute back-to-back buckets.
And that's the second time we've seen Oregon get 4 outside of the three-point line, and a post player bury Aguera underneath the rim so she can't block the shot.
Three ball is good. Chloe Cardi. 39% on the season from downtown for her. Boy, Tute's going to work now. 3 straight possessions. They get her a touch for the 6-foot sophomore from Luxembourg. Clardy short, and a patient whistle. They're going to get the foul on a Tute.
And I like the energy that Ahisa Tute comes into the game with for Oregon. A beautiful find from Bell from the top of the key. And then this is burying in the center of the lane. My coach at Tennessee, Dean Lockwood, he used to say, you rent space on the blocks, you own space when you are in the middle of the paint. And Tute owning some real estate there, right in the middle of the lane to turn for an easy finish.
Clardy knocks down the first, 85% free throw shooter. Had a 20-point game in their win over Gonzaga.
Talk about Stanford having depth. Clardy could be a starter on some teams, comes in off the bench, averages 12 points for Stanford. It's a lefty, she can knock down threes, she's tough.
Estera Tahina now in the game running point for the Ducks, and Jacobs fouled on the drive. Clardy, the junior from Conway, Arkansas. Started the second half of last year, and big spark for them coming off the bench.
And she is, like I said, a lefty, but she's a two-way player, takes pride in the defensive end. Last 3 games of this season, her most recent 3 games, she's 7 of 12 from beyond the arc. When she shoots with confidence and when she doesn't hesitate and just lets it fly, beautiful jump shot.
Jacobs makes quick work at the line. The transfer from Fresno State, who was an all-Mountain West performer last year, has scored over 1,500 points in her career, and the shot clock is off here. Stanford can hold for 1. They'll flatten out, and a 1-4 set with Lopolo, the decision maker. Ogden has to put it up. Good defense by Muhammad to take away an open look. 19-12, Stanford on top of Oregon. 10 minutes in the books. And our doubleheader this afternoon from Chase Center.
Welcome back to the Bay. Stanford up 7 over Oregon, thanks in part to Courtney Ogden. She is listed as a forward for Stanford, but she plays like a guard, and she is so poised and under control. She elevates straight up and down in her jump shots, has a beautiful ability to change speeds and directions. She is never rushed, takes what the defense gives her. Her development and her growth over 3 seasons at Stanford has been huge, and it's all coming true so far this season.
7 points to lead all scorers, and there you see the significant numbers over the last couple of games, including that 25-point outburst against the Cal Bears. Cal and Southern Cal, the second game of our doubleheader coming up. If you want to look at Jazzy Davidson, one of the top rookies in the country, she's got next.
I'm so excited to watch Jazzy Davidson play in person. But going back to the Cal game, Courtney Ogden had 25 points on 10 of 12 from the field. It was the efficiency that also stood out.
Tahina up top. Senior from Kosovo. Trying to feed a Tute inside, and it's knocked away by Shumfai.
It was a bad angle for Mia Jacobs on that pass.
Oro, hard off the backboard. Scramble for the loose ball. Down on the deck is Jacobs to tip it to her teammate. They are committed to get her a touch in the lane each trip up the floor as Atute draws the foul there.
And Atute is a player that Kelly Graves told us she doesn't know exactly how good she can be. Sometimes she seems like she's just so nonchalant, very casual, but she has so much potential. Once it starts to click for Atute, just how good she could be at basketball, he said that would be huge.
She had 16 points, 15 rebounds in their win over Auburn. They're 12-1. The lone loss was to 4th-ranked UCLA. A win today could get them a little more attention in the AP rankings. Hey, we're looking ahead to our final women's basketball doubleheader of the calendar year, and it comes up Monday, December 29th on ACC Network, featuring the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame and the Tar Heels of North Carolina, both in the top 20 this week. And Atute will shoot a couple, missing on the first. Ducks closing out their non-conference slate here today, and then a massive showdown. They will be hosting Michigan right after the Christmas holiday.
And Michigan, another team that last season relied heavily on freshmen, and their growth and their development of that freshman class has been really big for Michigan.
Big Ten is stacked with the LA schools, with Maryland and Michigan off to hot starts. Those super sophomores, the three of them in the starting lineup for the Wolverines, putting up big numbers. Aluchi Akanawa is one of the top transfers this year, as Maryland unbeaten, and Nebraska off to a terrific start. They won again yesterday, 12-0. Of course, UCLA looking very much like the team to beat as Long spins and scores.
Good things have happened for Oregon when they've gotten the ball in the paint. Paint touches, so important, whether it's off the post-up or off the drive. And when Oregon scores, they can get back into their zone defense and mix things up defensively.
Yeah, they've settled in nicely now after the slow start. They trailed by as many as 11. Clardy gets an open look, rattles around and out. Atute able to tip it to Bell. The teams have combined for a grand total of 1 offensive rebound today. Just the 1 second chance for either side through the first 13 minutes.
And that was a nice decision to drive by Mia Jacobs, but the next step for her is going to be playmaking off of those drives. That was a tough finish at the rim, getting into the paint, finding her teammates. And she's a Fresno State transfer, averaged 18 and 10 last season at Fresno State, now suiting up for the Ducks.
Stevenson, held ball. That'll give it to Oregon. Well, we knew coming in, both these defenses have been so strong through the first couple of months of the season. Neither side giving up more than 60 points per game, holding opponents under 40% shooting. Atute off the bounce. She is hunting shots. And it's a 2-point game.
Atute has been huge for this Oregon team. It's the physicality that she plays with that's made an impact.
She's got 9 now to lead all scorers. And Ogden knocks one down for her 8th and 9th points.
It's just so smooth. Doesn't overthink it. 2 defenders back in the paint, mid-range pull-up.
Open look from 16, and that one will go for Muhammad. The Texas transfer down her 2nd year with the Ducks. Eschmeyer running the floor, but stepped on the baseline.
Give Astaire and Tahina a lot of credit. Coming into the game, it gives Katie Fiso a break. Fiso can catch her breath on the bench, and Oregon closes the gap even more to get back into this game.
So Fiso returns. She is a triple-double threat when she's on. Looking for an assist there to Muhammad, and it doesn't go. Missed opportunity to tie the game.
Oh, but the pocket pass was so nice from Fiso.
Swain now to Aguera. Ogden off the hesitation move and a foul.
That's on number 35
and that is 2 on Atute, who is 4 of 5 so far, scoring almost as much as her teammates.
Leads Oregon in offensive rebounds on the season, coming off of the bench. The minutes from Atute, with how hard she plays, the effort that she puts in. But to me, the physicality, the way she seals and the way she drops her shoulders on drives, that's how she's been able to score so far.
Ogden now the first into double figures with 11 for the Card. Bell. And now Fiso will go to work. Pulls up mid-range. Doesn't get the bounce.
It's a really nice job defensively. Ogden and Aguera communicating, switching, and helping each other on that side.
Now Fiso now 1 for 5 to start out. Ogden coming off the Lopolo screen. Good box out, and it's a 3-on-2 break. Atute with Fiso. She'll keep and get to the line.
Give credit to Ahis Atute. Coming out of the game now, getting a sub, but even the ability to get the rebound, lead the break, kick it to Fiso, and now Fiso has an opportunity for free throws. Those were huge minutes from Atute.
So Fiso out of Garfield High in Seattle, a Washington State Player of the Year, the Jordan All-American, and a big jump for her with an opportunity to move into the starting lineup since she worked her tail off all off-season, knowing this would be her show to run. And look at the assists, 4th and B1.
Last season, played behind Deja Kelly, Peyton Scott, and when we talked to Katie Fiso at shoot-around, you can feel her presence. She has a commanding presence, and you can tell she loves the game. Grew up watching Sue Bird play.
Used to go with her papa, her grandfather, to see Seattle Storm games. And, of course, in the Pacific Northwest, an avid fan of Sabrina Ionescu as well. You know, when Kelly Graves can say, by the way, I did coach Sabrina, and I coached Courtney Vandersloot. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but, you know, I know a thing or two about getting point guards ready to go.
Coach Graves told us Fiso is a little more like Sloot than Ionescu in terms of some of the intangibles that Sloot had and the leadership and the way that she controlled the floor as the point guard.
Going to be fun to watch her continued growth the next few years. 4.5 to go here in the first half. Shot clock counting down. Lopolo's runner goes. Good poise.
The runner is what everybody's going to see, but the left to right crossover to get the space to go forward, that was impressive from Lopolo. She has a craftiness to her game that I like.
Pull-up won't go from long. Still just 1 offensive rebound in this game.
And both coaches talked to us about rebounding in general and how important it was for both sides.
Did nice spin in the lane and the finish. What a first half for her. She's got 13. And Clardy holding setting up the Fiso drive. 27-21, Stanford. Oh, for crying out loud, is she playing some ball right now? Crooks in the last 4 games, 37 per at 70% shooting.
Yeah, I mean, 47 points against Indiana a few games ago. She has been unstoppable.
And man, is there a better personality in the game? I mean, the smile says it all. It's fun to watch.
Speaking of
man,
being
look at that.
Fun to watch, that wide crossover from Lapolo is so tough to guard. Just shifts the defense.
Yeah, terrific handle. Talking to the point guards here, especially the young ones, and my feeling is that when you think you have the best handle in the game, that is the first step to amazing confidence running the point. Like, I know nobody can take it from me. I know I can do things with the ball. And that's where I think the confidence starts.
And the second step is actually having the best hand in the game.
Yes. And that's work when nobody's watching, right?
Ball control is the ability to shift the defense. It is so underrated.
Ogden. The step by. Rebound snagged by Rambus. Under 2.5 to go. The Ducks do not have a 3 yet. Shooting overall just 33%. They do have some layups. There's one of them. Uncontested for long.
You know, Oregon's done a nice job at getting into the paint. I mean, they have spacing on the offensive side. And to be able to create different lanes to get in and finish at the rim.
Ducks working that zone, which King Pay was telling us Stanford is not seeing a whole lot of this year, and it forces the turnover right there.
Look how open the paint is. So many players. Everybody on the outside.
Fiso. There's a rarity in offensive rebound today. Still cannot dial it in from deep. They're 0 for 7. Oregon has only led for about 30 seconds, a 2-0 lead to start out the game. Otherwise, it's been Stanford in front by as many as 11, but the Ducks can chip away a little bit more here.
And that shot was a force from Nunu Aguirre. Stanford was stagnant on the offensive side.
Fiso misses the layup. Will it cost him the other way? Quick return from Swain, high off the glass.
What a talented freshman class. Haley Swain, lefty with the finish.
Long has it stripped initially by Clardy. Scrap for the loose ball, and I've been able to knock it free. Swain on the run. Ijuwoye gives it right back. Big response here late from Stanford.
Look at Haley Swain applying ball pressure to Katie Fiso. Making Fiso uncomfortable. That is huge because she has such a command of the floor.
Fiso telling the screener to back it up. She'll drive to the right side and gets fouled by Swain. That's her first. Fiso to the line here with 8.7 to go.
One thing I like about Katie Fiso is she is 5'11" and has good size, but on her drive, she drops her shoulders low. The low player wins offensively. It helps with those blow-bys.
It's the first one to go. Stanford, I gotta believe, wants to inbound here to Lapolo, and then maybe Ogden with a touch the other end.
Amborn's in the game, who can also shoot threes, and she's running wide to the corner.
Floor stretcher. Rapolo does get the inbound. Ducks trying to slow her down. And the shot blocked by Sophia Bell. So they don't get a clean look. But Stanford does have the lead into the half, 31-25. The Tute with 9 to lead the way for the Ducks. Ogden has 13 in this first half.
And Stanford has been able to get out and run. Kate Pace said their offense is behind their defense. This looks like pretty good transition offense to me. Easy layup for Stanford.
You're watching Holiday Hoops presented by K Jewelers. Start of the third quarter coming up. Stanford leading Oregon 31-25 at the Invisalign Bay Area Women's Classic. Getting set for the second half. Beth Mullins, Andrea Carter with you courtside. The Cardinal leading throughout at one point as many as 11 points in front, and it was Courtney Ogden leading the way.
Courtney Ogden was huge. She is a forward. She has a great build, but she has the skills of a guard. It is so impressive to watch Courtney Ogden play. Her change of speed, change of direction, the poise with the ball in her hands. She elevates straight up in her jump shot. Watch this move. Between the leg, hesitation, stopped on a dime. Smooth mid-range game. 13 points for Ogden, and Ahis Atute off the bench. 9 points. She was efficient in just under 8 minutes of play. The only issue with Ahis Atute was she picked up a second foul and had to go to the bench, but the impact and her physicality was huge for the Ducks in that first half.
Here you see the field goal numbers. Both teams shooting below their average. 22 paint points for the Cardinal. A lot of those against the man when they were beating them off the bounce. And just a grand total of 2 offensive rebounds, 1 for each team in that first half. The second chances have not been there at all.
Eyes are on Nunu Aguera, number 3 in white. Can they find a way to get Aguera going? But against the zone of this, against Oregon's zone, it's tough to get Aguera looks in the paint.
Yeah, she was just 1 of 4 in that first half, their leading scorer. Coming back from missing out on a game with a lower leg injury on Friday night. Same starting units back out there for both sides to open up this second half. Long, off the cross, tough shot, and an offensive rebound for Jacobs. Wild shot, and it's corralled by Shumfai. And here comes the push to Swain the other way. In the lane, around and out. Another offensive rebound. What happened at the break? Both sides hit the glass. Their first trips up the floor. And that's going to be a push going for the rebound. Double-header night for a couple of 4 old Pac-12 foes. And speaking of Pac-12 legends, how about that one right there? Tara Vanderveer in the house to watch her beloved Cardinal with those 1,200 wins and the 3 national championships.
And Tara is so much fun to talk to about the game, about the state of the game, about this Stanford team. She really likes this group.
Yeah, when you look at their schedule, already at 10 wins, they have a really good stretch late in the year of winnable games that, you know, they're going to be flirting with 20 to 25 wins this season if they can knock some off atop the ACC. There we are. Their sister Holly there on the left as well. Or Heidi, excuse me, on the left there.
Tara was talking about the potential of this Stanford team and getting back into the tournament, but even stretched it as far as this Stanford program and where she thinks they're going to be as this great freshman class continues to grow and continues to develop.
Twice the WBCA Assistant Coach of the Year, was an assistant for one of their 3 national championships, a player on their 92 national championship team. Aguera leans into Jacobs, and an offensive foul as Mia is able to take the charge.
Offensive foul number 3.
And this is where Aguera, she has the opportunity to just go straight up off the spin move. She's more athletic. She could elevate, but was off balance and trying to lean back in. Give Jacobs credit for taking the offensive foul, taking the charge. Had Aguera stayed on balance on that spin move, it would have been a layup.
Here's Jacobs coming off the curl, lofts it up with the right hand. Making her 80th career start at her third different school. Short on the pull-up. Second chance, no. A third opportunity, Aguera. And a fourth chance, and it's stripped away. Oh, they missed. Atute running the floor there. Able to get a hand in the passing lane as they were trying to feed the post. Swain, tough with the one-handed lefty opportunity.
Oh, it was such great defense by Aguera, too. He saved at Stanford on the defensive end, but Swain, she is a lefty, not able to finish on that side.
Fiso crosses, turned away by Lopolo. Jacobs, and that is the first triple of the ball game for the Ducks after they started out 0 for 8.
Mia Jacobs had a few good looks in the first half. She wasn't able to knock down. Finds the bottom of the net on this one. Give Katie Fiso credit. She drives baseline, sucks the defense in slightly. Shamfai not able to get out. Oregon on a 7-0 run. Yeah, I mean, Brandon Pajemski was a staple on the sidelines for Golden State Valkyries games all summer long. Cheering, screaming, getting the crowd excited. I talked to multiple players from the W about how hard it was to play here against Golden State.
What a job they did in their inaugural season, making the playoffs here at Chase Center, home of the Valkyries. Atute missed the layup. Was the W expanding next year? The growth of the game off the charts. Hopefully the two sides can get something worked out.
Stole the thought right out of my mind.
Yes. Looks like a little zonage again from the Ducks. This has been bothersome at times because Aguera has not been able to get good looks. She got one there, and that should have been a three-point play.
Really, that was a dart of a pass. I think Aguera, it almost looked like she was caught off guard by the ball getting to her. Could have easily turned that into an M1 opportunity.
Pride of Hopkins High out of Minneapolis. Hometown that should be familiar to Paige Becker's fans out there. New to a part of their Pac-12 championship winning team a couple of years ago, and then the move last year to the ACC. Preseason this year, picked to finish 6th. Anchored by Aguera and Ogden and this 3rd-ranked recruiting class in the country. In a league that certainly seems pretty wide open through the first couple of months. And Jacobs has hit a couple from downtown here in the 3rd. And Oregon is back in front for the first time since they led 2-0.
38% from 3 on the season for Jacobs.
Shamfai is fouled on the drive.
And this is what Mia Jacobs can do. She kind of slips out. It almost looked like she was going to set a ball screen. I think that made Aguera hesitate. And that's what happens when you have bigs and you have forwards that can stretch the floor. On the defensive side, the opponent's bigs aren't used to having to get out to the three-point line.
The other two have been quiet thus far, but perhaps Jacobs will shake things up from deep as Shamfai heads to the line, ranked 12th in this year's rookie class from ESPN, and is this week's ACC Rookie of the Week after a double-double against Cal.
just 2 points so far for Shamfai. Averages 11 on the season. She can drive to the rim with physicality. Hasn't been able to get going this afternoon. You see Kelly Graves talking to his point guard. Katie Fiso, just a sophomore, still learning. So much potential with her game and her leadership.
Here she is with that Seattle sauce, as she calls it, and right on cue.
Straight line drives to the right. Katie Fiso has been able to get that all afternoon.
Polo stripped away by Long. Looking for Jacobs in the trail. Short on that three.
Stanford was lucky on that one. They've got to find Mia Jacobs in transition.
That was one of Kate Pay's top priorities, find the shooters. Polo. Now Fiso with under 4.5 to go here in the third. And a game that has swung in Oregon's favor. Scrap for the loose ball will stay at this end. 12-3 run for Oregon here in the third. Take the lead.
Welcome back to the Chase Center, where the Oregon Ducks have battled back, starting the third quarter on a 12-1 run, courtesy of Mia Jacobs, with 8 points so far in the third quarter. Got it done in the paint and beyond the arc. Oregon having success bringing the bigs away from the basket. You see Katie Fiso there with the finish over the length of Alex Eschmeyer at 6'5". But when Oregon can bring the bigs away from the basket, whether it's to shoot threes or attack off the bounce, they have had success.
The solid defensive effort, too, continues, holding Nunu Aguera, the top scorer for Stanford, to just 2 of 7 shooting. After trailing by as many as 11 early in this one, Oregon has come all the way back to grab the lead. Clardy and Ijiwoye have come into the ball game, and the triple on the open look for Shamfai.
That's a nice job as well by Chloe Clardy, getting into the paint but keeping her eyes up to find her teammates. Stanford, so many players are able to knock down threes.
Bell into the lane. Long. Eschmeyer trying to turn her away, and Shamfai has the rebound.
That was a nice job by Eschmeyer, recovering to force a tough shot instead of a layup.
Ogden rattles one in, and 4 unanswered out of that timeout for the Card. 5, excuse me.
I really enjoy Courtney Ogden's mid-range game. It is just so smooth.
It's Stanford now back in front. Bell, no. Shamfai now with 6 rebounds. Clardy, Ogden, unattended. 8-0 run out of that last timeout for Stanford, and this time it's Oregon needing to shut it down for a minute.
What an excellent response from Stanford. Oregon, they come with momentum, they take the lead, and what does Stanford do? Timeout, they settle in, get defensive stops on one end, and they come down and push on the offensive end. And it's the threes off of paint touches. High quality looks from beyond the arc. Stanford's been able to knock them down.
42-37. And a reminder that Monday Night Football comes your way with a big one. Playoff implications for Brock Purdy and the 49ers. Right now, the 6th seed in the NFC. The locals will be watching that one closely. Taking on the Colts on the outside looking in right now in the AFC playoff race. And how about a primetime moment for Phillip Rivers back on the field? ESPN2 will have a special data-driven look at that game as well. USC fans are in the house because it's Cal and SoCal coming up next. as our women's doubleheader continues on ESPN in the Invisalign Bay Area Classic. Beth Mullins alongside Andrea Carter with you. Some old Pac-12 foes getting back together here in San Francisco at Chase Center.
Katie Fiso has had success coming off of ball screens to her right hand. Stanford is in trouble when they have to switch those screens because you've got a big backing up Katie Fiso with a full head of steam. If you're a Stanford guard, you have to try and fight over the screen to be able to stay with that matchup. So Ijiwoye, Talana Lapolo, anyone guarding Katie Fiso, they've got to try to not get hit by screens so they can stay on her.
Been lethal at the line. Fiso is now 6 for 6. And she joins Jacobs and Atute in double figures. As Stanford has to deal with that 1-2-2 press. Again, back into the zone, looking for an opening in the middle. And that's a held ball that will stay here with Stanford.
It's a nice job on the backside of the zone by Sarah Rambis, constantly talking. When you play that back line in the zone defense, you're like the quarterback of the defense. You've got to tell everyone who's coming, who's cutting. The communication, extremely important in a zone.
5 on the shot clock. Clardy going to work. Kane with a big block. The UCLA transfer with the defensive play, and now stepping back for a 3. Again, the nice bounce pass from Faye. Good position inside.
A nice job by Shumfai, cutting right across the face of Mia Jacobs.
Jacobs lost it. And a reach-in foul on Tahina. Slows down the break for Stanford.
I'm just looking in at the Oregon huddle, watching Katie Fiso talk to all of her teammates, pulls them together. She hits Mia Jacobs on the shoulder, giving her a little bit of encouragement after a tough play, falling down on the opposite end. And now here she is clapping, right? That's the leadership of Katie Fiso, really stepping into this role.
10 points, 3 assists. She actually has 6-point assist double-doubles, the most in the country for the sophomore first-year starter.
She's had trouble finishing offensively, but give her credit. Her demeanor hasn't changed the entire game.
Misses again on the finish there. Just 2 for 11 now from the floor. Scoring her points at the line. Stanford turns it over. Their 10th of the game. See if the Ducks can break out of the slump here. They've missed their last 7 shots and don't have a basket now in nearly 5 minutes. Long, tough catch inside for Muhammad in the finish.
Look for Ogden to look for Chloe Clardy, drive here off a ball screen.
We're a little nonchalant here. Now there's just 2.4 on the shot clock. So Kate Pay will call up a inbounds at the midcourt here. They try the lob inside, no go. And it's Stanford fighting back in the third to take the three-point lead.
We have a tight one going into the fourth quarter. Katie Fiso getting to that right hand, finishing over length. That's the point guard for Oregon. And the do-it-all forward, Courtney Ogden for Stanford, knocking down the three. It's been a fun one.
To the fourth quarter we go at the Invisalign Bay Area Women's Classic. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Invisalign, the #1 doctor-recommended clear aligner brand. Nice evening in San Francisco. And just south of that bridge here at Chase Center, Courtney Ogden with 18 points to lead the way for Stanford. Jacobs had a big third quarter, had Oregon on top briefly with that 12-1 run, and then Stanford out of the timeout responded with a 10-2 of its own. And we got a three-point game with 10 minutes to go in this first half of our doubleheader with USC and Cal coming up next. Ijiwoye gets the steal. And it'll stay here on the ricochet.
The defensive stance and active hands of Shea Ijiwoye, so fun to watch. He sits in the stance, makes it so tough.
A part-time starter last year, has been good off the bench for them so far this season as they've incorporated this terrific freshman class, a couple of them in the starting lineup. Who can make the impact here in the fourth quarter?
Amina Muhammad did a nice job for Oregon battling Nunu Aguirre, that defensive possession. Not letting Aguirre get in position to seal.
Ducks here in this fourth quarter will try and end an 8-game losing skid against Stanford. As long drills one. Last win was the 2020 Pac-12 Tournament Championship game for the Ducks 5 years ago. Showing more of the zone.
A lot of length on the perimeter of that zone, but a great find to Aguirre. Unable to finish.
I don't know if she's had a clean look yet. They have really been pesky defending her. And that's going to be a foul on Stanford. What's on the line today for Stanford? Well, another win against a quality opponent. Because in the ACC right now, there are only 3 teams in the net top 25. And only a chance right now of 5 quad 1 wins the rest of the season, the way things stand today. And the Atlantic Coast Conference, of course, Hannah Hidalgo still doing her thing at Notre Dame. Camille Pierre now leads the country in rebounding for NC State. They'll be tough to contend with in the second half of the season.
Yeah, another very young team with NC State. You look at a lot of these ACC teams, wondering.
Clardy and Ann, one opportunity.
This is why if you're on the Stanford side, you think about what a big opportunity the ACC could be and all the opportunities to get wins in conference play. It's good active hands by Ogden and a finish through contact from Chloe Clardy. And this is what we're talking about with Stanford. Clardy comes off the bench. Ijiwoye comes off the bench and brings a ton of speed and energy. Eschmeyer comes off the bench for Stanford and brings size at 6'5". There are a lot of pieces in the starting lineup, but also depth-wise for the Stanford team.
And they also have a responsibility to the freshmen. Kate Pay was telling us every freshman has an upper-class mentor that helps them both on and off the court.
Yeah, if they need anything, need a trip to the store, need something with their classes, they all have a big sister on the team, each freshman.
Got a whistle on the shot. Count it for Aaron Long.
And Long Tuta's done a nice job. This is the second ball screen she's been able to get to that exact spot, knock down a mid-range jump shot. When you come off a ball screen, you want to come off tight to the ball screen in a straight line. The defense gets hung up on the screen, and that shot is open. That's a nice job by Long.
91% at the free throw line for Ari. She's 10 of 11 this season.
Long is a player that plays hard, competes defensively, leads the team in blocks, but this offensive output is an added bonus.
Two-point game, under 8 to go. Kick out, Clardy. Good box out by Muhammad. And now Tahina with a push, chance to tie or get back in front for the Ducks. Tute burying the defender, and then the kick out to the shooter. Well executed, except the finish.
And what a great seal and decision by Tute.
Shamfai. Great job to catch, turn, and attack.
I like Shamfai's game. Versatile, can score threes and in the mid-range game and at the rim.
Tute fouled on the drive.
And you mentioned it, Beth, a quick decision. Just feels the space. Muhammad rotating late with a nice drive. Finish through a little bit of contact.
Zone offense 101. You got to get to the middle of that free throw line, right? The middle of that paint. And then a lot of decisions to be made. Tute at the line won't go. Still to come, USC led by Jazzy Davidson taking on the Cal Bears tonight at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN. How about Jazzy, the only power conference player in America that leads her team? She's only a freshman.
As a freshman.
Points, rebounds, steals, blocks, and assists. On deck. Everybody getting a touch here for Stanford. Under 10 on the shot clock. Swain, nice cross. Weaving her way inside. Good help coming from a Tute. Stanford gets the pick. Ogden with the push. Coast to coast, short. Clardy trying to clear it out.
This is where a good decision by Swain to slow it down so Stanford can execute offensively.
Shamfai and drag the pivot. And Jacobs is going to check back in. Let's see if the Ducks get her a look from deep. She has their only 2 triples, 2 of 13.
If you're Oregon, I would look to use wing ball screens. They've been effective so far.
Tute. And she drags. Had a chance to kick it out to Jacobs out of the double team and didn't see it.
Both teams sped up. They're being sped up offensively. And it's not even necessarily because of defensive pressure. Those teams just need to settle in on the offensive ends.
Approaching clutch time in the final 5 minutes. Terrific drive, and then the 6'3" freshman with the big move. Fiso. Offensive rebound to Tute, no. They still do not have any second chance points in this game. Ogden the other way, short. Look at Eschmeyer going to work to keep it alive.
That's great effort by Eschmeyer, a freshman. Another freshman relied heavily on by Stanford, Lara Shumfayi. Gets the ball, one dribble. Look at the extension on the finish. That's tough. Welcome back to the Bay Area Classic, where 6'3" freshman forward Lara Shumfayi for Stanford is making her presence felt. Her physical drive, the ability to take contact and still stay straight line to the basket. Lara Shumfayi also the ability to knock down shots. She plays with a ton of confidence. A lot is being asked of this freshman class, but they are rising to the occasion and getting better and better as the season goes on.
Yeah, look at that. Shumfayi close to a double-double. Swain with 6 points. Eschmeyer has made some plays for them. She's out there on the floor right now. Can they close it out? Their 2 losses were oh so close. Kate Pay told us today at shoot-around, those got away from us. We cannot let that happen as we continue throughout the season and into the conference play. They'll get a second possession here. Eschmeyer squares, 5 on the shot. Not the look they were hoping for out of the break, and here comes Oregon with the push. Fiso, Batute, no. They have had some opportunities up close.
Oregon settling back into that zone defense. Helps keep Stanford out of the paint.
Everything on the perimeter right now. Ogden, the drive and the pitch. Clardy short. Here comes Jacobs. Just 5 points so far for the Ducks in this fourth quarter, and they lose it again. Swain splits the defenders, and that scoop won't go. Clardy's second chance goes.
Clardy's been active on the offensive glass. Got her own miss a couple of possessions ago, and then there, sticks with the play in transition.
Batute fouled on the putback.
You have to sprint in transition. Never want to assume your teammate is going to make a layup, especially when defense is sprinting back as well. That is a nice job by Chloe Clardy. And it comes off the bench, averages 12 points for Stanford. But when we talk about this young Stanford team, the upperclassmen, the juniors, the players like Chloe Clardy, and the experience they bring, it's huge.
Batute at the line. Ducks keeping this thing at a 2-possession game. We're approaching 3 minutes to go. Batute will check out. Shumfayi stays on the floor. She's playing with 4 fouls for Stanford.
Stanford needs to try and get the ball to the middle of the zone.
They skip it over the top. Oh my goodness, Swain stepped on the sideline. Opportunity knocks for Oregon. Eschmeyer will come around to defend. Shumfayi with the fouls will check out. 3 minutes to go.
Good defense by Clardy.
Long behind the screener. Ducks just 2 for 8 this quarter, with 6 turnovers in the fourth. game, taken away by Bell. 5th turnover this quarter for Stanford. Fiso cuts over a foul.
It's good defense on the opposite end from Bell, and then Fiso coming down. Stanford knows Fiso likes to go right, and instead Fiso uses that to set up the left-hand drive. Quick left-hand crossover, and again, she gets so low on her drives, but you mentioned it, Beth. Turnovers, offensive execution, those two things for both teams will be so huge in these final 2 minutes.
Fiso's first miss after a 6-for-6 start at the line. Misses them both for an 85% shooter. Shumfai off the bounce. Jacobs clears.
Straight up defense from Muhammad.
Off the crossover. Missed that layup. And Shumfai with another rebound. She's got a double-double as Swain leaks out the other way. Fiso attacks and scores. Swain does the same. Freshman coming up huge this 4th quarter for Stanford. And there's Aguirre securing it. 1 minute to go. From Clardy. Timeout, Oregon.
Back to back to back. Transition offensive opportunities for Stanford. What an excellent job. You see the tough rebound from Shumfai. Quick outlet pass and the kick ahead from Clardy. Haley Swain has been electric in transition, sprinting up the floor and with the ball in her hands, getting to that strong left side. And Courtney Ogden out sprinting everybody with another great find from Clardy. Stanford, when the game is on the line, when it is late in the game, showing more energy and execution than Oregon.
And as we talked about, learning from those 2 close losses, I love the fact that Kay Pay is not stepping on the brake. She's been urging those guys to push. Don't worry about the clock, worry about the score. And they've bumped the lead back up to 9.
Oregon with more speed this season, more threats from the guard position. They have the size to get rebounds and then the speed to play in transition.
Oregon has 3 fouls to give, just the 1 timeout left. They do have the arrow. (15-9), Stanford winning the 4th quarter right now. And they have held Oregon to just one of their last 9 shots have gone in.
And Stanford's length on the defensive end. I mean, this is a team that was ranked in the 200s, close to 300s as far as defensive statistics go last season. They have made such big improvements defensively. And it's been huge. Mia Jacobs has 10 points for Oregon, but she's 3 of 10 from the field. Katie Fiso has 12 points, but she's 3 of 14 from the field. If you can make your opponent's stars be inefficient, that is a huge key to success, and Stanford's been able to do that.
Oregon shooting just 31% tonight as a team. And so now for the Ducks. How do you try and get something cooking here with just a minute to go?
Honestly stopped for a second. They should have kept running. Oregon called the timeout. They are now able to advance the ball because it's under 1 minute.
Okay, so there was a clock issue that puts the game clock now under a minute at 59 seconds, which also opens the door for Oregon after the timeout to advance which they will choose to do.
We'll see if they look for Katie Fiso getting to the rim or Mia Jacobs knocking down a three. A quick opportunity here offensively for Oregon.
Just 2 of 13 from downtown. Jacobs has both of those threes. They're looking for her, setting up the screen for Bell, who will launch. Good box out by Swain. And Stanford now will work it. Cardinal closing in on a 3-win stretch over Cal, UW, and Oregon. Like the old days for the Card, and there's the capper from Champagne. 14 points and 11 rebounds for the Rook. Fiso knocks one down. And then the foul with 12 seconds to go.
What a shot from Lara Champagne. She has struggled from beyond the arc so far this season, but she still plays with so much confidence, and you can see her get excited to knock it down. She has been huge.
Boy, they have had so many good bigs over the years, dating back to the days of Katie Stedding and Val Whiting on those early national championship teams. Jane Appel.
Neko Gumake.
Recent years.
So many. Like, you think about Cameron Brink, who Champagne is a big fan of.
I think they're going to call a foul before the skid there. With 8 seconds to go, it'll be Oregon's second loss of the season. They'll drop to 12-2 and then set their sights on what could be an absolutely brutal Big Ten conference this year, and how competitive that league should be. And Stanford will improve to 11-2.
What an impressive finish from Stanford. The final couple of minutes of this game, it looked like when Oregon was getting tired and running out of gas, Stanford turned up their intensity.
And we're going to find out quickly if they are a contender in the ACC. Their first roadie of the new year at NC State and at North Carolina before coming home to play Duke. Not to overlook the Big Red of Cornell, of course, after Christmas.
I'm very interested in what's going to happen in the ACC. I mean, you look at some of these teams. NC State is young. Notre Dame relies so heavily on Hannah Hidalgo. Louisville, I've seen them in person. They look very impressive to me. And their overtime win against North Carolina, that was huge.
Yeah. Again, the league has struggled out of the gate, but 5 of the last 7 years, they've sent a team to the Final Four. And of course, with the Big Ten, is this a year that they could break through and get back on top? Don't forget, stick around. We've got more of the ACC and Big Ten coming up on our Pac-12 After Dark showcase with Cal and USC on deck. Of course, Lindsey Gottlieb, the SC coach, formerly at Cal, where she led the Bears to the 2013 Final Four.
Now, when we talk about teams that were used to being in the Pac-12, it's a big adjustment for many reasons going to a different conference. Take Stanford, for example. You know, they're so used to having one day in between games. So now they're in the ACC. They play Thursdays and then they play on Sundays. The travel schedule is different. You know, these coaches, when they change conferences, they're having to learn so many new things. Not just new conference opponents, but new conference schedules as well.
Struggling to get it in, and finally Ogden does have the catch. And Kelly Graves told his team not to foul, but there is a foul called. Coming up, the pride of Clackamas, Oregon, Jazzy Davidson, the #1 ranked player in this year's class, has been doing it all for USC. And Puff Morris on the other side, the freshman point guard for the Cal Bears. As Clardy will put the finishing touches on it. And a nice stretch into the holiday break for Stanford with wins over Cal, Washington, and Oregon. A double-double for Lara Shumfai, 20 points for Courtney Ogden. And a 64-53 Stanford win. For Andrea Carter, I'm Beth Mowens. We're going to get you to Sports Center, and in about 30 minutes, we'll be right back here at Chase Center for Southern Cal and California.